Hey guys, so I think that this worked. This is my Zoom kind of thing for my live stream this time. I muted myself, so I'm not 100% sure, but I can see my little audio going up and down. And then I got to figure out how to do chat at the same time. It's very weird and hard to do all these things, and I'm still trying to figure it all out. So drop something in the chat if you're there and let me know that you are, because I'm telling you, this whole live stream thing has just been a complete cluster, like totally crazy. And trying to figure this out while I'm there. Jenny, no, you're not late. You are early. So, or not early, you're right on time. Trying to figure out how the chat thing works on this Zoom type thing. There it is. So it's working from the bottom up instead for me. So if I miss it, that's probably why. So yay, good to see you, Tearstone and Jenny and Silver Alley. It's weird because my like chat is way, way down. I'm gonna just figure out how to make that view right. Just need somebody to come over and do my tech for me. It's been a super busy week for me. I'm sure it has been for you guys too. Anytime that there's a holiday coming, there's so much to go on. And I'm getting some specials ready for you guys for Black Friday because we might as well participate, right? Like everybody loves a deal on Black Friday. And today I'm wearing I don't know if you guys can see it, my Feel the Fear and Write Anyway shirt. That's because I have my crappy camera on, not even my good camera. The whole thing. I had like 3 minutes to get ready today for this. So I'm going to put this 25% off for Black Friday. And I'm going to give you guys, well, all my shirts, 25% off for Black Friday. And I'm going to give you guys a code and the link. So I'll drop that in the chat soon. Um, and nice to see you here, Heather and Brenda as well. Not sure that the music and everything's going to work because I did test it, but forgot to test music. So, yeah, interesting, right? We'll see how that works. Um, YouTube and Zoom seem to be working okay together, but we're going to try this and see what happens. I do have a prompt. I do have a prompt, but I've got to bring it up, I think, first and figure out how to do it. That's not it. I don't even know how to do that part. So my prompt is, I'll just tell you guys because I can't figure out how to bring it up yet. I'll do that during the first sprint. Is what is your character's worst or best Thanksgiving memory? Everybody has one, right? You got that drunk uncle or the really awkward conversation with your family or whatever it is. What is your character's worst or best Thanksgiving memory? And write about that because it will tell you a lot about their family and everything else. So I'm going to go right into a writing sprint, and hopefully that works because I don't want to do, hopefully, I'm not doing that with my screen share, shares right there. I'm trying to figure out how to share my music. I don't even know. Never mind. I couldn't figure out how to do that all of a sudden. Telling you. Okay. So, oh, look, a music app. There's a music app for there. Mindfulness meditation. So let's just try some of this music and see if that works. Let me know if you guys can hear it once I hit play. Music wants to share all computer audio. I guess that's right. I can hear it, so I'm hoping you guys can too. I'm just choosing something randomly until I figure this all out. I know I vowed to do it earlier, but it has been a really crazy busy week. So I'm doing my best here, guys. So we'll write for 15 minutes and I'm going to turn the music up just a little bit because I think I can do that. We'll write for 15 minutes and I'll figure out the other stuff that I have to figure out. And then we'll come back and we'll chat about writing. So let me put my timer on and I'll try to figure out how to put on the writing prompt. I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. Oh gosh. Okay, it went and muted me again. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry guys. Well, you got an extra 2 minutes of writing. How's that? So, yes, you saw this a few hours ago because I was testing it and trying to get it to work. I think I'm just going to have to suck it up and pay for StreamYard because I just cannot seem to master any of this other software. I feel like a complete idiot sometimes because this is not my thing. Um, and nice to see you here, Cozy Mystery Writer and Alt. We are watching some Italian YouTubers. They make pasta, and I guess he married like a woman from Italy. I think they go there quite a lot. She just took us on a tour of Italy on the YouTube channel that we were watching. I don't remember who they are, but it's been kind of cool. So, Jenny, I have a scene where my protagonist is alone. She investigates a room and finds things. Finds things. This scene feels flat because there's no dialogue conflict. What should I do? Okay, so if she's all by herself, then that yes, that does make it hard. So I would raise the stakes for what she finds so that it becomes much more of an emotional impact on her, or maybe you can add to the danger if you I don't know if you're writing a suspense or what you're writing, but if you want to add to the danger, there can be a sound outside or something like that, or maybe you can add a cat to the scene or something that adds some kind of extra element to it. As long as you're keeping the tension high, like what she's finding, what she's learning is changing things, then you can definitely keep that conflict in there. You don't have to have dialogue. You could have her make a phone call, but you don't have to do that, or make or text somebody too. That's another way to kind of get dialogue in without them actually speaking out loud. You don't have to. You can totally do it with just creating things that raise the stakes. And yes, Cheryl, I was just trying to like share my screen and then click over to check something else. And then apparently I can't do that because Zoom is not my favorite thing. So, oh, sorry to hear you're sick, Miss Blogger. But yay on getting some writing done. And yes, um, yes, so good to see you guys here. I think I'm just going back to the regular software next week, you guys. Um, Side note that the manuscript Mondays is going to be on at 4 o'clock on Monday. I had somebody schedule a meeting on my calendar, and sometimes that just takes over. And so I won't be able to start it until 4 o'clock. Now, the manuscript feedback, if you guys have never submitted to that, I give you 200 words, and I'll give you some feedback on your pages. There's the link to the form. You have to fill it out in advance because otherwise, I don't have time to look at it. So, like, if I get it right there at 4 o'clock, I'm not going to have time to give it any kind of like solid feedback. So, if you submit before the manuscript feedback session at 4 o'clock on Monday, I will give you feedback on your 200 words. Just there, you'll see in the form, it says, tell me a little bit about what the plot of the book is so I know what I'm looking at. And if you've seen the past manuscript feedbacks, it's like concrete developmental editing. And the reason that it's only 200 words is because I'm always trying to teach you guys that every single word matters, every word. And Jenny, if it's a medieval, then maybe you could add a mouse or something to the scene, just something else to add some kind of an element in there. Maybe the mouse makes it a little scary, makes a noise or something, and that really adds to it. I was going to also give you guys the link to the shirt. So if you use code Black Friday, you will get 25% off the entire store. I'm not actually making this code live until Black Friday. Well, I'm not saying I'm not putting it out to the world. Let me put it that way. It works right now, but I'm not putting it out to the rest of the world until Black Friday. So you guys get to have it first. Um, yes, hopefully that helps, Jenny. You can add something else to the scene that will add some suspense or add some fear or add some worry about whatever she's learning. And Miss Blogger, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I'm sorry that you're sick and I hope you feel better soon. But yay on writing. I am actually finishing up a scene for a proposal that I've been working on all month. My goal was to do something for NaNoWriMo. I'm co-hosting and partnering with somebody to do a conference in April. And we are launching all of the sponsorship deck, the website, all of the copy, getting all of the graphics out. And so my days have been insanely busy. So my intention to do a NaNoWriMo like just disappeared. The month's almost over. I really tried. I had big intentions. I have it on my to-do list and it is now the 22nd. So it's not going to happen. And I'm hosting Thanksgiving. So my days are like sucked up from here until Thursday. So Sorry about that. Maybe next year I'll have it more together. Work has just been insanely busy, which is always good because that's paying the bills, and I've got plenty to work on, so I'm always happy with that. Um, so let's see what I gave you guys the link for the store, and I gave you guys the link for the manuscript Monday. Just notice that it will be at 4 o'clock instead of 3. And I will set up the live stream so you guys can get a notification. We'll do that sometime today or tonight so that you guys know. If nobody has any other writing questions, then we'll just do another 15 minutes. I cannot figure out how to share the the thing without creating like a background on my Zoom or something. Why do they make it so difficult, right? So the writing prompt. So I'm gonna play the music. I think I'll pop into Canva and make a background real quick and drop that in there so you guys have that. Oh, and Cheryl got me this little ornament that I'm gonna put on my tree. You guys, I bought a tree instead of doing the book tree this year. I got a real tree because Cheryl sent me this monarch butterfly ornament. And I love monarch butterflies, as you know, because I raise them and everything and have a crap ton of milkweed in my yard. So that's going to be my first ornament on the tree once I start decorating it, which I would have done it today, but I try to wait till the day after Thanksgiving to do it. So, anyways, let me play some music. I'll create a backdrop with my writing prompts so that you have it, and we'll go from there. And next week, I'm just going to pay for the stupid StreamYard. I can't manage with all this. So I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. Okay, so yes, I made sure I was not muted there. Um, got that done, got my proposal, the draft done. Um, so I have to kind of flesh out chapter three because right now chapter three is like 6 pages long. So I definitely need to write a little bit more in there. And smoking new, I'd love to have some writing music. I'm just trying to use what won't get me like a copyright strike on YouTube because a lot of times if you use popular music, you can get a copyright strike. If it's not, then copyright free. Um, and Gala had the soccer game rescheduled because it got rained out. So that's awesome. I hope they win. I know you're already gone. And Miss Blogger asked me if I ever get writer's block while using the character master plan and the master plotting plan. Everybody gets writer's block. Everybody gets blocked for ideas. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm planning a book, or it doesn't matter what I'm actually doing with the book, whether I'm just trying to come up with the next thing to happen in the scene, or whether I'm trying to come up with a character's name. There could be block on anything. It's really just kind of giving my brain space to figure it out. I don't actually believe in writer's block. I think there are just days when the job is easy and days when the job is hard. And on the days when it's hard, I just kind of do something else to kind of get my brain thinking again. I know that my brain has it somewhere in there, and I've just got to kind of either go to a different location, try writing something else, or writing in a different way. A lot of times I'll write on paper instead of on my computer, or I'll go take a drive and talk to myself and just talk it out. Because sometimes that's really all I need to sort of dislodge whatever's in my brain. Um, or I write the exact opposite of what I thought I was going to write, which is what I just did here. Because I was going to end the scene one way, and I was like, you know what? Let me see what happens if I end it this way. And then I was like, oh, I like that new ending better. So just do something else and keep going. You've got to be able to come up with a plot, so you've got to know your characters, and you've got to come up with a good what if. And if you're struggling with the what if being unique, like I said in the video last Monday, come up with 6 different options for it. You've really got to kind of think that through and figure it out so you can start writing. And if it's not working to use the plans, then just write something. A lot of times I figure out the book as I'm writing it. You know, I'll come up with an idea and just start and just get some pages on the screen. Doesn't mean I'm going to use them. Sometimes those pages get deleted. One of the things I want to show you guys in the Monday manuscript feedback at 4 o'clock is the beginning, middle, and final published product of a opening to a book that I came up with. And I'll kind of that I came up with that I released a while ago. It's this one right here. And I want to kind of show you guys the whole process of, you know, planning out the proposal and how much it changed from beginning to final published. Even though it's the same character, it changed quite a bit. Yeah, Robert, yeah, driving definitely, or going for a swim or having a shower definitely helps you think. It's those mindless tasks like vacuuming or doing the dishes or driving that really helps you sort of think things through a lot of times. I used to love like long drives back in the day when I would go long distances and it was easier to drive. Just because I could think out everything. I used to write when I was doing a long drive, and I traveled quite a bit back before COVID. I would write in a notebook while I was driving, and it would just be these big scribbles. And every time I stopped, I'd have to kind of try to figure out what that was and rewrite it because if I waited a week, I wouldn't be able to read it. But yeah, driving is good for me and talking it out. And you don't look as crazy in these days to do that as you did when I did it 30 years ago because cell phones were not in existence then. So yeah, it's a great way to figure things out. So how'd you guys do? And how did you do on your writing today? I'm very excited that I finished that scene so that now all I have to do is add 10 pages to it to make it the length it should be. And then I've got to write a synopsis, which I hate writing synopses. I hate that. I really, really hate that part. Cheryl said she folds laundry and loves on the dogs. It's poop. Yeah. Working in the yard for me, like weeding, is a really good mindless exercise for me to let my brain just kind of wander. And a lot of times I'll put my headphones in, but I'm not necessarily even listening to anything. I'm just figuring stuff out, whatever it is that I'm working on that I've got to figure out. And so those kinds of activities can be really good. And Cheryl's working on the feedback from her pages from yesterday from the mastermind that we had. We are going to have some changes to the mastermind program that I'll announce in beginning of next year because I haven't had time to even put all my thoughts together. But There will be some changes, but it'll still be good. There'll be other opportunities for you guys to get feedback. And we're also going to kick off a writer's boot camp in January. I'm going to start recording videos for that next month, but it's basically taking you through all of the different parts of a plot together. So we're going to do the what if, we're going to do the catalyst, we're going to do all of those things. It's going to be a 12-week course. And I'm going to have a couple of live streams that are just for people in the course. So I'm going to restrict the number of people that can join the course just so I'm not overwhelmed when I'm giving you guys feedback in the live streams. So if you're interested in that, just kind of keep an eye on the channel or drop me an email and I will be sure you get on the list for that. I haven't priced it. I haven't figured out any of that yet. I'm still kind of planning it out. And Smoking New, everybody hates writing a synopsis, right? It's kind of like writing a book report. It's so boring. And Robert, yay, submitted an analysis request for the manuscript feedback on Monday. If you guys joined us late, I'm going to drop that link in there again. Got to find that one. So the manuscript feedback on Monday is at 4 o'clock Eastern time. And what you do is you fill out the form and you submit something and I'll give you some developmental feedback. It has to be in before 4 o'clock on Monday. Like the earlier it's in, the more time I have to look at it. So Silver Alley loves going for walks in the country to empty your head and let the ideas flow. Yes. And for me, like yoga is really good. But here's the thing with yoga. Like as I'm sure you guys can tell, like I'm not a very still person. So I despise yoga because of all the stillness. But when I get to the end and you're supposed to do corpse pose, like I'm just like laying there thinking, oh, this is a great idea. This is a great idea. And sometimes I'll get out my phone and I'll get yelled at by the instructor for like doing something when I'm supposed to do corpse pose and it's dark and you're supposed to listen to the music. I'm not good with that. I'm not good with staying still when I have an idea. And Miss Blogger, how do you know which POV character you want to learn from? So I'm not learning from the character. Character is learning on the page. The character has something to go through. So you write from the point of view of the character that has the most to lose or the most to learn in that scene. There's always, if you do a dual point of view book or even a multiple point of view book, there's always one character that has more growth and more learning to do than the others. And that's whose book it essentially is. And that's the character a lot of times that you'll choose for a scene. Um, and Smoking, you getting ideas when you go for walks. Yes. Walking and running, all of those kinds of, like I said, mindless things are really good for that. So when you're picking your point of view, you want to look at the character that again has the most to lose or the most to learn. And that's how you pick, well, whose scene it's going to be, because that's where you're going to get the biggest emotional bang for your buck by choosing somebody that has more to go through than somebody else. So if they're going to all of a sudden learn that their dad is not their dad, or she's going to lose her job, or whatever you choose to have in the scene, it's going to be far more impactful if that's the character that is the most affected by that event. Did anybody write about the Thanksgiving memory? Because I think that's a really fun thing. And I probably should do that for this scene, because that would be a really kind of cool thing. These are people that knew each other in high school, and she's come back to town. She's in her 30s. And I could write a Thanksgiving scene and figure out why she's not visited her family yet since she got to town. Because I haven't figured all that stuff out yet, and I need to write a synopsis. So maybe let's do one more sprint. Let's do a 10-minute one. And I'll write my little Thanksgiving memory for my character and figure out what is going on with her and her family so that we can get that done. So I will see you guys in 10 minutes. Well, there we go. That was another 10 minutes, and I wrote a little scene with my character that I really like. I don't know if I'm going to use it in the book or not, but it was kind of fun to take that Thanksgiving from hell that she had as a kid and write about it. So it was really cool. Um, so smoking new, yes, not every country has a Thanksgiving celebration. I know that Canadians have like a similar sort of thing, but it's my favorite day of the year because I get to have all of my favorite foods. So and Miss Blogger, you can't have both characters have the most to lose. There's always one person that has more to lose than the other at any given time. You can put twins in a room that both are going through the same experience, and always one has more to lose than the other because our personalities are different. Two characters cannot have the exact same everything because otherwise the stakes are too flat for the reader. There's no ups and downs. It's just like, okay, so everything's a dire circumstance for her, everything's a dire circumstance for him. You don't have that roller coaster that the reader really wants. So you've got to pick a character that has the most to grow and learn. There's always one person. You just look at your friend group, like there's one person in your friend group that probably could do more growing and changing than the others. So that's kind of how you just sort of choose which character it is. And Jenny has a scene where both characters lose a lot, but I chose the girl's point of view because the next scene is the boy's point of view, and that kicks harder to the reader, hopefully. Yes. And even if they lose the exact same thing, like I write many linked series. I have a 3-book series with 3 sisters that lost their mother at the same time. They were all different ages, so it impacted each of them differently, and how they interpreted her death was different. And one of the sisters was the most impacted by it, and it really made a difference in her relationships. The other two, as they were different ages, were impacted in slightly different ways. So it didn't impact their relationships with other people as much. It did in some ways, but not the same way. Um, and Smoking New in my current work in progress, so one chapters from the point of view of 2 other main characters because their actions lead up to a big event with the protagonist. Plus, it sets up the characters more for future development. First one, then the other. Yes, I'm glad you're not blending the two because the head hopping can get really confusing for the reader. Um, and Miss Blogger, if I use the ordinary world one, it's just for the reader. Yes. The short answer is yes. If you put too much of it in there, you need to set up something that shows that there's something coming, some kind of sense of something changing in the character's life with that ordinary world setup. If you have 5 pages of the ordinary world, the reader's going to be like, why should I care? Like, I just don't care. Actually, just finished reading a book that I almost quit because there was way too much ordinary world, and it was 4 pages. I got to the 5th page and it changed. And I was like, okay, I'm in. But it was only because that 5th page was extremely well written that I stayed with that book. The author had come pretty highly recommended to me. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. If I had not had that recommendation on that author, I would not have finished that book because I would have been like, let's get to something that actually matters here because I wouldn't have cared. So not keeping that ordinary world is basically just keeping the book from moving along. It's like you're sitting at the bus station waiting for the bus to show up to take you on this journey of the plot. So you don't want to have too much of that. And sorry, Mo, that it didn't show up until then. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like I said, I think I'm gonna have to go back to the other software. I cannot figure it out. 98 words of feeling sorry for my character from Silver Ollie. And yes, dire circumstances. I do love those. FMO is a quick question. Can opposing goals not tie in with external conflict? I think it always ties in with external conflict, right? Like if you look at characters that have 2 opposing goals, then there's conflict right there in the 2 goals being against each other. Like if one wants to um, tear down tear down the building and turn it into a development, and the other wants to save it and make it a historic building, then there's inherent conflict right there because they have 2 different goals. So I think it always creates conflict. I'm not sure how it couldn't because the goals are in opposition to each other, and that by its nature is conflict. So I definitely think that could. So let me drop the link in there because you guys can have an early link to the Black Friday. So the store, if you drop in code Black Friday, so code is Black Friday. I'm going to put that in there. And here's the link to the store. You can get 25% off on the store. And if you want to take the Writing Compelling Romance Novels course and have not there's going to be a very short sale on it for Black Friday as well. So watch out for a graphic that will tell you that. Um, so Hafamo says heroine believes hero caused the death of her close relative in a terrible accident, and she wants to uncover the truth. He wants to protect and hide it. So yes, that absolutely is conflict, right? Because she wants to figure out what happened of her to her relative, and she's always going to be in opposition to him. And if you've got a hero and heroine, then at the same story, at the same time, this relationship between the two of them is going to create conflict because she's going to know that uncovering the truth could potentially hurt him. And he's going to know that lying to her or covering it up or not answering her questions is going to hurt her. And so that creates conflict within them. And they're also going to have opposing things that they're going to do. So if she's trying to dig up the truth, maybe she's going to go to the police and try to read the police report, and he's going to go to his buddy at the police department and say, "Don't let her read that report." So that creates conflict right there. So, and Ms. Bulger, yes, you can totally go straight to action. That's what I usually recommend is either foreshadowing a little bit of action that you get to very quickly or going right into the action. Sometimes you've got to set the character up a little bit, but you can throw a one-liner in there that sort of tells the reader there's something else coming. So really study opening paragraphs and opening pages because there's such an art to sort of laying in that need to read the book and also kind of getting the story going or setting up the ordinary world. So you can definitely do both. I'll have to do a manuscript feedback where I like study beginnings of books, or maybe I'll do a video on that as well. And I know you guys are going to ask me what Monday's video is, and I haven't edited it yet. So it has been a very, very busy week. So sorry about that. The ordinary world is important. It shows why it sucks and why the protagonist still wants to stay in that world. And it can be, yes, like we just watched Silo, and the first season of Silo, they really set up that world of the silo. But there are still things happening. There's still intrigue. There's this whole maybe his wife goes out to clean and she's dying, and like there's a whole bunch of things that still happen even in that ordinary world. So you can have an ordinary world with a lot of action in it and with high stakes. And it's setting up that something bigger is coming, that there's something that they're hiding with the silo right from the very beginning. So there's definitely a way to do both. Hunger Games was great for going straight to the story through 2 seconds of ordinary world. Yeah. And I didn't read the books, but I definitely saw the movie. And right away, she's got to go to this thing to get chosen to fight in the Hunger Games or not. And they're still going through the ordinary world and they're clearly poor. So you kind of know what's at stake there as well. So there are ways to do it. Definitely study some books. And I just read a book, or I'm in the middle of reading a book that does a really, really good job with backstory. So I'm going to have to use that one for a video in the future about backstory because it's the perfect example of only telling what you need the reader to know. It was a really great book. Okay, so that was a lot of talking. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for joining me today and for writing with me and for just asking your questions and everything else. And if you are in the United States, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. I'm so looking forward to my Thanksgiving dinner. And those of you that saw my pictures, I'll try to remember to take some before I eat and post some on YouTube so you guys can see. So thank you for following me. Watch for the Black Friday sales. You've already got the code for the shirts, and there will be one, of course. And I will see you all not next week because it's Black. Well, maybe next week, maybe. I'm just gonna say maybe. I don't know how long my family's staying. So if the family's still here, I won't do a live stream. So I'm not going to put it up there on the schedule, but I will see you Friday after that. So Monday, 4 o'clock, manuscript feedback, and definitely another live stream in 2 weeks. So